Alrighty, hi team, and welcome back to another episode of Toe the Line. We are on episode 8 today, which I feel like I say that's crazy every single week now. But I just can't believe we're on episode 8. Oh, that is crazy, and I'm going to keep saying it because it is crazy. But anyway, hello, welcome back to Toe the Line. I hope you've all had a great week. I hope you have been taking care of yourself. What a weekend of rugby it was. Holy hecker. We are so at the pointy end of the Rugby World Cup now, which is like just crazy to me. I really can't believe that we're here. Like the quarterfinals have just been, and it's just crazy. Unless you've been living under a rock, then I am sure you'll know that the All Blacks beat Ireland, and I don't know the final score of the South Africa and France game because it is still underway. I'm hoping that before I finish recording this episode, that final score will be in. But yeah, what a crazy weekend it's been. So at the moment we've got I'm getting way too ahead of myself. At the moment we've got Argentina, All Blacks, England, and either France or South Africa in the semifinals, which like I said, crazy stuff, which I can't believe we're nearly at the end. Like, what am I supposed to do with my life after the World Cup is over? This is the real question. But yeah, I hope you've had a great week, guys. I hope you are keeping well. I hope you're taking care of yourselves and just living your best life. But anyway, what do we do? What do we do at the start of the episode, team? We do question of the week. My question of the week this week was, I just wanted to know your guys' thoughts, feelings, and opinions on the All Blacks versus Ireland game, and I got so many responses. So many responses. So I'm only going to pick out a few because we were all pretty excited. But so question of the week this week was, what were your thoughts, feelings, and opinions on the All Blacks versus Ireland game? First answer I got was OMFG. That was one quarter final for the masses. I was worried throughout the whole match the Irish were right up our asses. Yeah, they were. They 100% were. In those, we're going to get into it, but in those closing minutes and when Ireland were they got up to nearly 30 or 40 phases in that last gate, like play, before the final whistle, and I felt sick. I was sitting on the edge of the couch. I was holding my stomach. I was doing some deep breaths. I nearly couldn't look. I nearly was just like this with my hands like covering my face because it was just such an intense end to the game that it finished how it started, because those opening phases from the All Blacks, we went through about 30 or so phases and it just ended how it started, which I thought was interesting. But I don't even know what was that. It was a crazy game. Next response we got was if Ireland couldn't pull that off with 2 yellow cards and a penalty try for the ABs, then the right team won. I would tend to agree with that one. I agree. I don't know. I thought Ireland played really well regardless. And like I said, we're going to get into it, but I was really not shocked that we won, but I was a little bit surprised because our discipline wasn't like the best it could be, and we did have those 2 yellow cards and a lot of things were stacked against us, but I'm just really happy that the boys could pull through. Artie, so next response for what were your thoughts, feelings, and opinions on the All Blacks vs Ireland game, we got Artie for PM and Sam Cane. Artie for PM and Sam Cane impressive after less than average build-up, but so pumped after that my heart rate and blood pressure returned to normal. They've also said, I don't understand why we kicked away possession with time on the clock, especially when gaining meters. This is the one thing, right at the end when Aaron Smith kicked that ball away when we were gaining meters, right at the end, and then Ireland took it into those 30 or 40 phases, I went like this with my head. I was like, oh my God, are you joking? Why would you do that? And I was talking, so my dad and I went for a walk after, and I was talking to him about it, and I was like, I think he just must have gone to instinct. He just must not have thought about it, because if you had thought about it in that moment, you would have been like, maybe not the best idea to kick it away right when we've got at that point they had maybe 3 minutes left on the clock. Ireland could have easily scored in that time, and they nearly did, which would have cost us the game. But yeah, it was just, when he kicked it away, I was like, no. I was like, please don't do that again. Don't do that again. Please don't, because it was just too much for my little heart rate and little brain to handle. When Aaron Smith did that, I was like, oh dear Lord, Jesus, take the wheel. But luckily, Sam Whitelock came in with that game-saving turnover, and all was good and well in the world, at least for New Zealanders and the All Blacks. That game was worthy of being a final, so good to watch. Elation, sense of relief. That was a quarterfinal game to go down for the ages. It had all the drama. And then last one for what were your thoughts, feelings, and opinions on the All Blacks vs Ireland game. All Blacks worked well as a team, but discipline almost let us down. Yeah, 100%. We were very close to not winning that. Like I said right at the end there, Aaron Smith kicking that ball away was definitely not that it was anything to do with discipline. I just think that was probably the wrong thing for him to do in that moment. In terms of the discipline, I think those 2 yellow cards, I had this opinion that if that had been any other quarterfinal and a team had got 2 yellow cards, they wouldn't have won that game. So again, it makes me really impressed, I guess you could say, by the All Blacks that they had 2 yellow cards and they were still able to win the game, especially against a side like Ireland, who are number 1 in the world currently and have been playing so well, and they were on that 17-18 game winning streak. And yeah, I don't know, it was a very close call there at the end for sure. We also have never been so nervous during a game since... Let me start again. Never been so nervous during a rugby game since the 2015 Super Rugby final up to the Landers. That's definitely a Highlander supporter, obviously. And then unreal performance, this is the last one here. Unreal performance from the lads and a true test match, so good to stick it to all the haters. Was also surprised by their game plan. Looked to purposely keep it real simple on attack. And I replied to this comment and I said, yeah, I definitely agree with you. And like I was saying in last week's episode about how we had to go in with a different game plan in order to win this game, because teams like Ireland, I think, I've said this before, I think Ireland are one of the smartest teams in world rugby at the moment, and there's just no way that they wouldn't have researched our game right down to the very smallest points of our game in order to find out what we were going to do. And so I think from the game plan perspective, I think the attack, because it was simple, it maybe caught the Irish off guard a little bit. There were little moments of brilliance in that game, like for example when Beauden Barrett did that small little kick over the top and then collected it back up. He got nailed, but that play from Beauden Barrett really set up a spectacular try. Little moments from Will Jordan, I think the backs were on last night as well, and yesterday morning, and yeah, I just think all in all, apart from the 2 yellow cards and the small issues with discipline, I think we played so well, and I'm just so happy that the All Blacks got the win. Alright, so that was the question of the week. So I want to jump into reviewing the Rugby World Cup quarterfinals. So the first quarterfinal, we had Wales and Argentina. I was pretty convinced that Wales would win that game. I couldn't tell you why. I just thought they were playing really well, and Argentina hadn't been playing so well. So I was like, and Dad said to me, before that game, he was like, if the Argies play well, then they'll win. But I just hadn't really seen them playing too well, so I was like, yeah, Wales clearly had a good chance. But the full-time score was 29-17 to Argentina, and the half-time score was 10-6 to Wales. So Argentina definitely had a really good second half. That one, I think, yeah, I'm quite gutted for Wales actually, and I mean, to be fair, they did really well in this World Cup, but yeah, totally gutted for them. Argentina got, that late penalty, right on full time, and yeah, I don't know, what else to say. It was just a really, I'm kind of depresso a little bit about Wales not winning. I don't know why. I don't really have, like, I don't lean towards either team really, but yeah, for some reason I'm just like super sad that Wales didn't make it any further. But I want to move on to the game of the weekend for me. Well, I had 2 games of the weekend, but obviously my first game of the weekend was Ireland and New Zealand. Full time score 24-28 to New Zealand. I feel like we all just need to take a collective deep breath after that one, because what a game it was. That is what finals footy is all about. And let me tell you, now that I know the full score, I just want to watch the game again because it was such a good game. But watching it live, oh my god, when I tell you my fists were clenched like this, I was like, oh my god, like I could like see my nail indents into my like palms because I was clenching my fists so hard and like doing this with my hands. Like I could see the whites of my knuckles because I was just so nervous. But let's start right from the top. I want to start from like the haka before the game even started. You could hardly hear the haka because the crowd was just so loud. Those Irish supporters, like you could hardly see a black shirt in that arena or in the stands. Like it was a sea of green. And I mean, hats off to the Irish because they know how to support their team. And I just thought it was really cool. The start of the game was a little bit messy for the All Blacks. There were 2 loose passes in the first minute by the ABs and a pretty shit kick by Geordie Garrett. Super untidy in those opening minutes, like those very early minutes, like I want to say within the first 3 minutes. But they seemed to collect their kind of thoughts and collect their game, and straight after that they went into about 30 phases, and the Irish defence was something else on those 30 phases. Like the All Blacks were just throwing everything at that defence line by the Irish, and you know, we were going phase after phase, and it got up to about 20 phases, and I was like, what? I was breathing, like I was trying to get my pulse or something, because I was like, what is going on here? Like this defense is just insane. And to open a game with so many phases, or like have so many phases in opening minutes, like that would have just like hammered them. They would have been so tired. And I think I just think from those opening 30 phases I was like, yeah, this is going to be an intense game. 3 points on the board by Moanga 7 minutes in after a penalty conceded by the Irish in those kind of last few phases, in those 30 phases. And then the second line-out for the Irish was really good, but the All Blacks forced a penalty and went for the goal again, and Barrett got another 3 just before 15 minutes in to make it 6-0. Beauden Barrett, yeah, I've got on my notes, Beauden Barrett, take a bloody gag, because that little over-the-top kick, then the recycle, then the try from Leicester Inuku, holy crap, the All Blacks we know and love. Like that sort of play from the All Blacks is the All Blacks we know and love, in my opinion. I just think, like I said before I got into this, that those kind of little moments of brilliance from the All Blacks, I think is what we know and love from that side. Like historically, I feel like those little moments of brilliance are so key for the All Blacks side. And I think that over the top kick from Beauden Barrett, the recycle, and then getting it out to Leicester on the wing, chef's kiss. It was just such a good game, such a good play to watch. And yeah, I just think, what a play that was. It was, I could watch that try over and over again because it was so good. Bundy Aki then got Ireland's first try, and how our defence didn't tackle him is the on me. That Bundy has been the form player of the tournament. So good on him, in my opinion. Obviously, him being player of the tournament is just my opinion. I think, do they have a Rugby World Cup player of the tournament? I don't know, but I think they should, because I think it would be Dundee. He's just been insane. He's on another level. But he got Ireland's first try, and the defence on our end was a little bit concerning, because he just seemed to go through about 3 or 4 holes, which was interesting. But Anyway, we move on. Try number 2 for the All Blacks was Gaisabia after a 50-22 line-out. So that was really good. And then Aaron Smith got yellow carded with about 4 minutes to play in the first 40 for a deliberate knock-on. Was it controversial? Yes, that yellow card, in my opinion, was pretty controversial. And looking at the comments after the game and seeing people talk about that yellow card, obviously it happens. You can't change it. You got to move on. They can't overturn a yellow card after the game's done. Like, it's been and gone. Let's all get over it. Everything worked out and it's fine. But I think if the score had been different and the All Blacks had lost, I think there would have been a lot more people talking about that Aaron Smith yellow card and how probably unfair it was, because I think it was pretty unfair. I don't think it was a deliberate knock-on. I think... Anyway, I'm not getting into it. Moving on. Irish scored off a line-out from 5 metres out. Janison Gibson Park was the try scorer. Half-time, the score was 17-18 to the All Blacks. So the first half was tight. It was close. And, yeah, what else can I say? Like, it was a really good first half. And I think people were glad the first half was over, but then also scared about the second half, because with 1 point in it and both teams kind of playing pretty level, I think it was always going to be a tough second half, no matter what side you were. Will Jordan scored first for the All Blacks in the second half, about 12 minutes in off a liner, and what a run it was, Guy Will. I can't put any of the video up because it keeps getting copyrighted by World Rugby, but just if you go and watch the highlights and see that try by Will Jordan, oh my god, what he's just got to be one of our form players at the moment. He can make something out of nothing, in my opinion, and it's really cool to watch. There's a penalty try for Ireland in the 63rd minute, and this is where I started to panic, because discipline for the All Blacks has been the Achilles heel for the All Blacks this kind of Rugby World Cup and leading into the Rugby World Cup. And so when Ireland got that penalty try in the 63rd minute, I kind of looked over at Dad and he was just staring at the TV and he looked stressed. And I was like, yeah, I am stressed too, and I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do here, like what is going to happen. But yeah, with that penalty try in the 63rd minute, I was starting to sweat. My hands were starting to get clammy. I was like, oh dear. What are we doing? What is happening? We need to get this sorted. But fear not, because the game kept going. And a second yellow card for the All Blacks, this time for Cody Taylor, and then Geordie Barrett got a penalty goal just outside the last 10 of the game. The game ended how it started, like I said. This time Ireland went through nearly 40 phases into overtime, and it was Sam Whitelock who turned it over and saved the game for the All Blacks, because if Sam Whitelock if Sam Whitelock hadn't turned that ball over in the 40 phases, then I really think Ireland would have won, because, you know, they were tiring down our defence line. We were getting a bit messy. But yeah, and so in the end, the All Blacks won 28-24, and they're into the semifinals against Argentina next week, which we will be previewing later in the episode. But how we won that is insane, because I just think we had everything stacked against us. We had the 2 yellow cards. We had the penalty try for Ireland. Our discipline was starting to get a little bit shaky, especially in that second half. You know, all those things stacked up, especially in a quarterfinal. I think, like I said, any other team probably would have lost, but somehow the All Blacks managed to stay in the game and hold their ground. And yeah, I'm still a little bit surprised and shocked that we won, but I'm so happy that we won. I'm so happy that we're into the semis, and we're playing Argentina next week, which arguably is a bit of a easier game than Ireland, so I'm hoping that we can really play well. Moving on to England and Fiji. England won 30-24, but I didn't watch the England and Fiji game, but I know that Fiji were winning from the majority of the game, and then England brought it back in the kind of closing minutes of the game, I believe. Half-time the score was... Oh no, sorry, that's a lie. Halftime score was 21-10 to England, and England didn't get any tries in the in the second half. They got some penalties in the 54th and 78th minute, but it was Fiji who kind of got the two tries in the. It was Fiji who got the two tries, in the second half, and then the two conversions, and then gutted for Fiji because that would have been epic. But in saying that, they have played so well this tournament, and people say that they had an easy pool and all that, but at the end of the day, you just got to make the best of the situation that you're given, and Fiji did that. They deserved to be in that quarterfinal. I'm sad they didn't make semis, but now it's going to be in England and either France or South Africa semi-final, which will always be a juicy one, I think. But yeah, we'll see. Currently, the France and South Africa game, the score is currently 25-19 to France. Oh, juicy. Yeah, that's so juicy. Maybe I will try and finish this episode really quickly and watch the last kind of closing minutes of that game. But yeah, so that was the Rugby World Cup quarterfinals. Now kind of taking a break. Oh, well, actually, we're not going to be taking a break just yet. But headlines from around the world are going to go into. And the first headline I have is actually about the Rugby World Cup. And I'm not sure if you guys would have seen, but Jaco Peyper, who was the referee for the Wales and Argentina game, he actually got injured and had to get replaced by a different referee. And the opinion piece I have here is Warren Gatland says Wales were thrown off by referee replacement and Plume is lost. Can I speak? Oh my god. So Wales coach Warren Gatland has admitted his side was set back by a refereeing switch after Jaco Peyper's calf injury in the Rugby World Cup quarter-final in Marseille. The experienced South African whistleblower had to hobble off after blowing his calf in the first quarter at Marseille on Sunday New Zealand time, and was replaced by assistant referee Carl Dixon. Wales had just taken a 7-0 lead at the time of Peyper's injury. When asked at the post-match press conference whether the switch had affected the Welsh players, Gatland said, "Absolutely. It does throw you off. We were comfortable with Jaco Peyper and the relationship that we had with him in terms of his control of the game. It's nothing against Carl, but you do a lot of analysis through what referees tend to be tough on and what they're looking for. We hadn't really prepared for the change. Sometimes that happens in the game." Peyper pulled up lane while trying to keep pace with the Wales breakout, leading to a 14th minute try to Dan Biggar. "My calf is gone," Peyper said on the TV audio. "I couldn't keep up with play there. We're going to have to change referee. Give it over to Carl Dixon here." Dixon, an English referee and former professional halfback, came on in Peyper's place and exerted masterful control of a game won 29-17 by Argentina. He had some difficult decisions to make, including a late first half call on a penalty against Wales wing Josh Adams for an off the ball tackle that led to a melee. So yeah, that was interesting. I don't think Warren Gatland was blaming the referee change for their loss by any means, but I think he was just being honest, and I think sometimes people take that the wrong way. But now, taking a break from rugby, and we're going to get into some other headlines from around the world. New Zealand 6th after first day of Spain Sail Grand Prix. New Zealand are 6th after a challenging first day of the Spain Sail Grand Prix in Cadiz. The Kiwis finished 4th, 5th and 8th in the first 3 fleet races of the weekend, picking up 16 event points. Australia lead the fleet heading into day 2 with 25 points, with Denmark close behind with 24 points. Hometown favourite Spain sit 3rd with 23 points. It was not the start New Zealand were hoping for after the team's 5-week forced hiatus from racing, said driver Peter Burling. "We definitely had a pretty tough day where we never quite found our groove fully. We were right in the pack for most of the day and found it really hard to find good lanes. There were a few things thrown at us too, including not having our starting screen working in race 1 and not being fully prepared for 5 up sailing either, which is our bad. It's our first day racing in a while, so we can go away, tidy that up and come out swinging tomorrow." Race 1 marked a stunning hometown debut for Los Galos, the Spain Sail GP team, who came out firing to finish a clear 19 seconds ahead of the rest of the fleet. So yeah, I'm not sure if any of you who are listening or like watching right now are into the Sail GP, but I really enjoy it, especially after the last two America's Cups. I really got into America's Cup. I think it's really cool, and I just love seeing our Kiwis do well. But yeah, super exciting. I now want to go into women's rugby a little bit and talk about the WXV tournament. What is the WXV tournament? Black Ferns will take on the world's best on our doorstep again. It's an opinion piece as well. So thankfully, so what is WXV? Rugby fans I've spoken to didn't even know a mini World Cup on home soil was just about to start, not surprising with the All Blacks dominating eyeballs from France. The competition brings together the top 6 teams in the world. It's damn fine rugby too. Forget the relentless kicking of the men's iteration. This game is all about speed, finesse and big tackles, and tickets start at just $10. What's not to love? Well, maybe not the Red Roses trademark rolling moors that caused a few chewed fingernails during the Rugby World Cup final against the Black Ferns last year. It's a chance for fans who missed out on the Black Ferns' charge towards hoisting the World Cup to experience the electricity of the crowd and the game. The magnificence of the final, surrounded by people cheering on women, brought a tear to my eye last year. I felt the same while sitting in packed out stadiums during the FIFA Women's World Cup. Who can forget the moment Hannah Wilkinson scored the tournament's first goal at Eden Park? These environments also felt safe. I felt safe walking around the venue and okay, blah, blah, blah. No one really cares about that. But yeah, so the WXV tournament, I will talk to you guys briefly about that because I am potentially doing a little bit of stuff with the Black Ferns. But the WXV tournament, so there are 3 different tournaments. There's WXV 1, 2, and 3. WXV 1 is being hosted here in New Zealand across 3 different weekends starting I believe next weekend and then going to early November. First weekend is in Wellington, second weekend is in Dunedin, and third weekend is up here in Auckland. The Black Ferns are obviously playing, and then there's 5 other teams who they will all play each other across the 3 different weekends, if that makes sense. I believe the WXV tournaments were born from World Rugby to kind of bring more game time and gameplay for the women's teams, which is super exciting. But yeah, it will be really interesting to see how those inaugural WXV tournaments go. Moving on to netball, take 5. The big questions facing the Silver Ferns ahead of Constellation Cup Game 2. Not many outside the Silver Ferns camp would have predicted an upset in the Constellation Cup opener. World champions Australia showed why they are the benchmark in international netball, delivering a dominant 50-40 victory in Melbourne on Thursday. The Silver Ferns showed glimpses of what they could do but couldn't produce it consistently in a game they always trailed in. Coach Dame Nolene Todua will want a major step forward from her side in the second test in Brisbane on Sunday as they look to leave Australia level at 1-1 in the series. Here's 5 key talking points ahead of Game 2. What needs to change for the Ferns? Just how brilliant is Courtney Bruce? Will we see Grace Nowicki's return? What did the Ferns do well in Game 1? And then any changes to the Ferns starting 7. I don't really follow netball too much, if I'm being honest, but I know there are a couple of people who are asking me to do some content on the Silver Ferns, so I thought I'd just chuck that in there. Next headline is Breakers blown away by Portland Trailblazers in NBA preseason game. After a promising start, it all went downhill fast for the New Zealand Breakers as they slipped to a heady 106-66 defeat against the Portland Trailblazers in Oregon on Tuesday night. With new signing Anthony Lamb named on the bench for the first of their 2 NBA preseason games, the Breakers starting 5 of Parker, Jackson Cartwright, Will McDowell, White, Tom Abercrombie, Zillan, Cheatham and Mangok Nutting got the visitors off to a flying start during a lively first quarter in which the lead changed hands several times. Lamb was introduced for his debut after just 4 minutes, and the 1.98 metre American forward made an immediate impression, assisting McDowell White for a floating jump shot that saw his new team edge 10-9 ahead at a stunned Lotus centre. That spurred a rusty-looking Portland into action with centre DeAndre Ayton and shooting guard Anthony Simon stepping up for the host, while first-round draft pick Scott Henderson struggled to find his range. Moving on to Some tennis. Canadian tennis star Felix Auger-Aliassime signed for ASD Classic, which is super exciting. I love watching this guy play. World number 15, Felix is the latest to confirm he will play at New Zealand's ASD Classic. The 23-year-old Canadian star joins Cameron Norrie as the other men's player locked in for the Auckland AGP Tour in January, while Coco Gauff and Caroline Wozniacki had already been announced to play the women's tournament. Felix will be a new face for the Classic and is someone who's part of the new wave of talented and exciting young players to set to dominate the sport. I've heard a lot of good things about Auckland and New Zealand in general, like the beauty of the landscape and the country and how nice the people are as well, Felix said of his impending trip. I'm looking forward to seeing that and hopefully I can play well and win some matches in front of the fans. Tournament director Nicholas Lamperin said he's delighted to have been able to secure a player of Auger-Aliassime's quality. And then I do just want to do one more for you guys. This one is about Greg Murphy and supercars. Greg Murphy only now realises the significance of his 1999 Bathurst 1000 win. When Greg Murphy won the Bathurst 1000 with Stephen Richards in 1999, he didn't realise the significance of it from the New Zealand point of view. He does now. Murphy and Richards became the first all-Kiwi driving team to win the great race 23 years ago, and they stood alone as the only partnership to do that until last Sunday when Shane Van Gisbergen and Richie Sanaway repeated the feat. Murphy won the Bathurst 1000 4 times over his career, twice with Rick Kelly and once with Craig Lowndes, as well as his victory with Richards. While plenty in Australia regard him as one of their own, Richards was born in New Zealand and is the son of one of New Zealand's greatest ever drivers, Jim Richards. He moved to Australia at the age of 3, and although he speaks with a thicker Australian accent, he's never forgotten where he comes from. However, he didn't earn his stripes driving in New Zealand like Van Gisbergen and Sanaway did, so he doesn't get the same acknowledgement on the side of the Tasman. All Murphy's Bathurst victories were special, but he said watching Van Gisbergen and Stanaway win this year made him realise the significance of the victory in 1999. Which is just like so cool. Yeah, like I said, I can't believe we've got to wait another 365 days for supercars Bathurst to be back on. But I know the Gold Coast 500 is in a couple of weeks, so maybe that'll make me feel better. I don't know. But let's move on to the Rugby World Cup semi-final previews. Semi-final 1, we've obviously got All Blacks and Argentina. I don't want to sound I don't want to sound like, not cocky, because I don't think it sounds cocky, but I just don't want to sound like I know exactly what's going to happen. But you'd like to think the All Blacks can win that one against Argentina. I think we would be kidding ourselves if we said that it was going to be an easy game. I don't think it will be an easy game, but I do think as history kind of has shown us that we can beat Argentina dominantly. But we'll see, because I think everything changes when it comes to Rugby World Cup final playoffs. I think anything can happen. You never know what can happen. We could get 3 yellow cards all at the same time and then shit will really hit the fan. Touch wood that doesn't happen. I can't believe those words just came out of my mouth. But you just never know what can happen. People get nervous, shit happens, and you just never know. But I'm really backing New Zealand in this semi-final. Then we've got England versus either France or South Africa. Let me quickly see if there's an update on that match currently. The score is still 25-19 to France, and they're in the 64th minute at the moment. So crazy. But yeah, so England are either going to be versing France or South Africa. You just never know with England, but I do have a feeling that maybe France or South Africa could definitely beat England, only because England haven't been playing that well and they haven't been too strong, although they did make it to the semis, so there's that. But you just never know. But yeah, I think I think with that, France and the New Zealand Argentina game, I do see New Zealand winning that, but we'll just see what happens. We can't know until it's over, so yeah, we'll see. That kind of wraps everything up for this episode. I do quickly want to talk about just the next couple of episodes and kind of what I see this podcast being moving forward. So obviously the Rugby World Cup, we've still got the Rugby World Cup going on. We've got semis next weekend, and then this coming weekend, and then the finals the next weekend, and then that's all over. So I think for the next 2 episodes, I want to keep it solely based on the Rugby World Cup. I'm thinking about doing after the finals weekend, I might do like an episode solely recapping the World Cup, doing like maybe like who are the winners, who are the losers of this 2023 Rugby World Cup, something along those lines. So that's like the next 3 episodes, and then after that I want it to solely be like an interview style podcast where I interview different players or coaches or people in the rugby and NRL space. I say NRL because tomorrow I am interviewing Beck Cleary, and for those of you who don't know, Beck Cleary is the wife of Ivan Cleary, who is head coach of the Penrith Panthers, and the mother of Nathan Cleary, who is one of the star players for the Penrith Panthers and arguably in the NRL. So I might actually clip this up and chuck it up on TikTok. So if you guys have any questions for Beck for the interview tomorrow, then let me know in the comments, and I can definitely ask her, because I know it'll be a great chat. But yeah, moving forward, I do want this podcast to be a platform where I can have my own little media outlet and bring inclusion into rugby and the NRL. I think that's really important for me, and that's kind of where I see this, podcast going. And then I also want it to be a safe space for people, as in athletes and coaches, to feel like they can talk openly about things that maybe others don't really tend to ask them, which I think is important. So that's kind of where I see the podcast going. But thank you as always for being here, guys. I really appreciate it. I'm really excited for where we're going to take this podcast. I think there are going to be some really exciting opportunities coming in the near future, so I can't wait to have you all on board for that. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button and let me know what you thought of the episode in the comments below. I love talking to you guys in the comments. I always have the best conversations with you guys in the comments. If you're listening on any audio platform, make sure you hit the follow button. Make sure you leave a review and give me some stars. Doesn't have to be 5 if you don't think it's 5, but whatever you say it with your chest. But yeah, just thank you all so much for being here. The support is amazing. I'm very grateful. And yeah, that's episode 8 over and out. Make sure you are kind to yourselves, be kind to others, take care of yourselves, and I will see you back here for episode 9 next week. Have a great rest of the week, guys, and I'll see you back here soon. Peace.